Hello everybody, welcome to Nostalgia Goggles Now in Color. I'm Chris, also known as the Retro Gaming Nerd, and yeah, we're gonna keep this chibi because I can't do this show and, like, be honest with you, and I can't do it physically. There's no way I can do this physically because, like, my mind doesn't work this way. I also don't think you want to look at me for that long. So with that being said, yes, this show is going to be chibi from now on. I recorded the Mario OVA a while back, way before the Mario movie came out. It was kind of in preparation for the Mario movie, but it definitely was not. I haven't seen it at that point. So instead of me sitting here and going like, oh wow, why don't I just, not acknowledge it? Here you go, here's the acknowledgement. And instead of waiting to talk about all these Mario movies, I thought, let me just talk about them all now. So right now I'm going to talk about the John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins Mario Brothers movie. Why am I calling it that? Because I don't remember the year, but I feel like that's, you understand it. You understand what I'm talking about when I say their names. That's the one that I'm going to be reviewing next. Let's get right into it. So the story of this movie is wild because they looked at the Super Mario Brothers game and said, that's not enough. Because the story is, when the meteor hit Earth that annihilated the dinosaurs, it really didn't annihilate the dinosaurs, it opened another dimension and then sent them into that other dimension, and humans and the dinosaurs are from a separate dimension, and there is a queen that I believe is running away from Bowser's rule to try to leave her princess, not Peach, but Daisy behind. And so Daisy eventually grows up. She has a rock that's very important to this Mario world that combines the worlds together of the Mushroom Kingdom and our world. What does that have to do with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo? Well, they just happen to be doing their plumbing thing and run across her, and Luigi has the hots for her, and then she gets kidnapped by Iggy and Spike, taken back to the world. So it is Mario and Luigi's job to bring her back and also to make sure Bowser does not fuse dimensions and take it over. If none of that made sense, there's two reasons why. One, because I explained it poorly, or I explained it really well and it's just that stupid. You decide. I feel like they went the farthest out of their way to tell this story for a video game. To be fair here, Mario wasn't that far in his gaming life because Mario wasn't super consistent. After all, we had Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario Land, Mario 2, we didn't even get the official game, we got Doki Doki Panic that had King Wart. So and the Mario lore is all over the place, and it made sense that they would have went with this route because Mario wasn't as far as it is today. But also, the OVA existed. So there's proof that they definitely could have made a decent Mario movie. I mean, I guess when they said, let's make it live action, they threw it out the window. But I don't know. I really don't know. There might be a possibility for a good live action Mario movie. It's just, I can't wrap my brain around it, right? So I don't know how that would work at the end of the day. All I'm really trying to say is I kind of defend the story. I don't hate it. It's just, it's a lot for Mario fans, right? It's a lot to go into if you like Mario. It's just kind of, it's just a lot to wrap your head around. So with that being said, so I can describe my feelings more on this, let's get into the presentation. So this movie is stupidly ambitious, right? As it should be, because it is a video game movie. There's a thing that we're going to talk about a lot in this show, is how much something doesn't look like something, or how much something doesn't do something. I feel like this movie does a really good job explaining a lot of stuff that doesn't matter, right? Like, for instance, Mario jumps high. How does he do that? Oh, well, there's boots that do it. Oh, mushrooms? Nope, we literally have fungus. What do Goombas look like? They look like this. What do Koopa Troopas look like? They look like this. Somebody really went out of their way to do it, but do it wrong. And I quite appreciate it, because, this movie is kind of outstanding when it comes to the way it presents itself, right? It's got one of my favorite actors, Bob Hoskins, amazing actor. And it's also got John Leguizamo, And they do a really good job as Mario and Luigi, but they also don't. Like, that's really the whole key of this movie, is it does a good job and it also doesn't do a good job. At the end of the day, I feel like the thing is the presentation and the story is the biggest reason why this is seen as a not good movie, because it's such a hard concept to wrap your head around. Because as a video game fan watching this, yeah, it does a really good job. Like, if you told me put Mario in live action, they did a great job, because they did stuff like explain why they can jump high. They explained why Bowser, I guess, is a dragon. They showed Yoshi, which, wow. Like, I feel like, honestly, there is no excuse for this movie, but there is every excuse for this movie. I feel like the actors are doing really well with what they had, especially since most of the time they were drunk. That is not me making up shit. At least John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins were. And I feel like with that being said, they are what makes this movie work. I actually really do like the setting as well, because it's not the Fantasy Mushroom Kingdom, but goddamn, it's something. I will remember it. It's like a kid-friendly Mad Max is what one of my friends said a long time ago, and I kind of have to somewhat agree, or Blade Runner. Kid-friendly Blade Runner. And even then, I can't agree 100%, but it's the best way to describe it. I have no clue how to describe this movie to you 100% the way it looks. It's a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk movie, which is an interesting take on Mario Brothers, but my god, it's memorable. And that's the great thing, is it is memorable. At the end of the day, this movie is memorable. I absolutely love it. I love how they even have a bomb in this movie. They made a Mario movie. It didn't 100% work out, but I guess it was fine. Heck, we even have their costumes, which aren't 100% correct. I don't know why they went for the coveralls when they could have just went with overalls and a shirt. That's literally all Mario is. Like I said, I feel like the problem with this movie is somebody looked at the stuff and went above and beyond when they just didn't need to. I don't know. I really feel like at the end of the day, this video is more or less of me unpacking my trauma of this movie more than it is me analyzing the movie, because I'm unpacking so much of how I feel about this movie versus me going objectively, is it good? Because I honestly have no clue. I have Stockholm Syndrome with this movie at the end of the day, and I feel like it shows with the presentation, because I see where they're coming from. I just think it's dumb. With that being said, we should probably move on to the accessibility, because none of this matters if you can't get your hands on the movie. So funny story here, right, is that before I get into the pricing and all this stuff, this video was actually going to be done a long time ago for Mario's 30th anniversary, but a lot of stuff happened, and one of them was that I had this on Blu-ray. I bought it off of Amazon. And surprise, surprise, it was the wrong Blu-ray, and then that ruined everything. This series was supposed to come out sooner, and funnily enough, I've looped back around to Mario unintentionally. It blows my mind on how many times a project I think is dead and then somehow returns into my life. With that being said, let's get into the prices of this boy. No, this movie came out on VHS, and that will set you back about between $30 and $100, and that's a lot of money for a VHS. I wouldn't recommend getting that version. On DVD, it'll set you back between $9 and $12, and you can also get it on Blu-ray for about $30. This movie is interesting in prices. I feel like at the end of the day, if you're gonna try to get this movie, I would normally be like, go get it on VHS because it's cheaper, but this is the occasion where no, it definitely isn't. Just get it on Blu-ray or DVD at the end of the day. Let's start with the goods. Well... I feel like this movie is distinct, right? I feel like you won't forget this movie. I feel like no matter how you come away from this, this is going to be one of the most memorable Mario experiences you have. You will definitely not forget it. Another good thing about this movie is that there's a lot of video game references in it, such as Bullet Bill and the Bomb and Yoshi. They really tried to make this a Mario movie. Argumentatively, they tried to make this a movie, period. And it feels like that. Does it feel like a good movie? No, but at least it feels like they respected the Mario IP more than other video game movies do. Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and the rest of the cast do a really good job, I think, in this movie. With what little they had, I think that they pulled it off. Another good thing is I absolutely like the setting that this is placed in. I think that It's not the Mushroom Kingdom, it's not what I would expect, but I absolutely enjoy it. I like the design of the Goombas and stuff like that. There's a creativity to these kind of movies that I miss, right? Where they try to translate something into the real world or into a film or try to explain something. And I kind of like that in these movies, even though it kind of is an issue. I like how they try, at least. And I don't know, there's just kind of like a charm to it. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about like the jump boots, Yoshi, Goombas, Koopa Troopas. It's all nice to have these explanations, even though that's not 100% necessary. It's nice to kind of see why they chose the way they did, not 100%, but you know what I mean. And last but not least, I think this movie's enjoyable. It isn't good, but that's kind of what makes it good, right? Is that it's fun. It's not Mario, but you can see accents of it being Mario. Is that the right way to say that? I feel like there's a lot of good to this movie, but it comes with a lot of hindsight. With that being said, let's move on to the bads. So, like, objectively, this whole movie. Like, objectively, this whole movie. I can't sit here and defend this movie 100%. No, it's not a good movie. And I feel like if you're somebody that's looking for, is it a good movie? No. But I do think that what little it does have for game representation is good, but it's not a good movie. There's nothing I can say to defend this one 100%. There's nothing I can say that'll change your mind. I enjoy the movie. I think it's fun, and I think it's a 100% worth watch if you're a video game fan to see where we started, but this movie isn't good. I feel like the fact that we even have it in live action and the direction that they took is the reason why this movie wasn't well received. If you are somebody that was expecting Mario back in 1993, this is not what you were expecting. You might have walked away enjoying it, but let's be honest with yourself, you would be a little disappointed that this is what you got. You expected something way different. And to be fair here, so did the actors. You know, this is not what I feel like anybody at that time was expecting either. And even today, it's hard for me to sit here after the Mario movie has came out and said, yes, this is great. I still feel like you'll get enjoyment out of it. But this movie objectively just isn't good. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about the nuances of what makes it bad, because that would just be a whole nother video at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, no, this movie is objectively bad. All the good things that I said about it could even be construed as bad. That's why I say this movie objectively is bad. Because no matter what excuse I make, at the end of the day, they're excuses, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. With that being said, let's go to the final thoughts. So with that being said, does the Mario Brothers movie hold up? No. But that's kind of what makes it great, right? The fact that this movie is not what you would expect, the fact that this isn't the greatest video game movie of all time, the fact that this movie is a train wreck and not just okay, is the biggest reason why we're talking about it today. I'm also talking about it because I'm doing a whole Mario thing right now, but that's a whole different thing. I feel like if you're somebody that has not seen the movie and you like video games and you're curious, go on and see it. It's worth your time. It's fun. I'd recommend seeing it with friends though, or with somebody, you know, because I don't know if 100% you'll watch it on your own, but I feel like definitely it's fun. It's good. It's kind of what video game movies were for a while. They're not good, and a lot of them aren't good, but I feel like this one is fun enough. You know, it tries. It really does try. This says somebody defending the movie. With that being said, I no, this doesn't hold up, but I think it's definitely still worth you checking it out. With that being said, yes, I'm going to talk about the Mario movie next. The new one. The one that came out a couple months, not even a couple months ago, a couple days ago. Months ago at this point? It doesn't really matter, because these videos come out and they're kind of... The video itself exists in a nebulous place, so it doesn't matter when the movie comes out. The new one. And that's all you need to know. I'll see you guys next time on Nostalgia Goggles. Now in color. Bye!